Niger has had 5 successful coups d'état since its independence in 1960, and many more attempted coups. The latest coup is a setback for democracy in Niger and the region, and it comes as a reminder that the country is still susceptible to instability. It remains to be seen whether the country will be able to return to civilian rule in the near future. So, what exactly led the country to Niger's 5th coup d'état? To answer the question, we must have a look at the country's history. During the trans-Saharan trade and empires spanning from the 8th to the 16th century, the Songhai Empire, Mali, and the Ghanaian Empire played crucial roles in shaping the cultural, political, and economic landscape of the region that now comprises Niger, and they significantly impacted the development of the various tribal confederations in the area. The trans-Saharan trade routes, which linked West Africa with North Africa and beyond, facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and cultures, contributing to the rich history of the region. During the late 19th century, European colonial powers, including France, began to establish their presence in Niger and other parts of Africa through the process of Scramble for Africa. This was a period of intense competition among European nations to claim territories and resources in Africa. In the early 20th century, specifically in 1922, Niger officially became a French colony under the name French West Africa. France exerted control over the territory, implementing a centralized colonial administration. The French colonial rule in Niger continued until the mid-20th century. Under colonial rule, Niger's resources, particularly its agricultural and mineral wealth, were exploited for the benefit of the colonial powers. The French colonial administration also introduced economic and social policies that favored the interests of the colonizers, often at the expense of the local population. During the colonial period, the French authorities implemented a system of forced labor and imposed heavy taxation on the local population, leading to significant hardships for the Nigerian people. Additionally, French cultural influence and the spread of Christianity had an impact on Niger's traditional social structures and religious practices. The colonial era left a lasting impact on Niger's cultural, political, and economic development. The struggle for independence and the desire for self-governance gradually grew among the Nigerian population, leading to the eventual declaration of independence in 1958 and the founding of the Republic of Niger. After gaining independence from France on August 3, 1960, Hamani Diori became the country's first president, leading a one-party civilian regime. During the post-colonial era, Niger faced a tumultuous political landscape, with periods of political instability, military coups, and transitions to civilian rule. Diori was respected globally for his role as an African spokesman and peacemaker, but his administration was marred by corruption and challenges in addressing domestic issues, including famine and economic hardships. In 1974, a military coup led by Lieutenant Colonel Sani Kashe overthrew Diori's government, establishing military rule in Niger. The country remained under military governance until 1993, when a national conference was held, leading to the establishment of multi-party democracy. In January 1996, army officers staged a coup in Niger, overthrowing President Mohamed Ousmane and Prime Minister Hama Amadou. The coup is attributed to a political deadlock that was hindering economic reforms and draws criticism from former colonial power France. Lieutenant Colonel Ibrahim Ber Menassara becomes the country's leader after the coup. He asserts that the intention behind the coup was to enable a fresh start and not to terminate multi-party democracy. In April 1999, Lieutenant Colonel Ibrahim Ber Menassara is assassinated by dissident soldiers in an ambush at Niamey Airport, leading to a third coup in Niger's turbulent history. Daouda Malam Wank, the commander of the Presidential Guard, assumes power and announces a plan for an elected president and a return to civilian rule by 2000. Mamadou Tandja wins Niger's presidential election, defeating Mahamadou Issoufou, a former prime minister. The election is generally deemed free and fair by international observers, following the 1999 coup. In 2010, a military group known as the Supreme Council for the Restoration of Democracy, CSDR, led by General Salou Djibo, captures President Mamadou Tandja and his ministers after a gun battle. The constitution is suspended, and all state bodies are dissolved. The military government pledges to establish democracy and good governance, accusing Tandja of manipulating the constitution for personal gains. Political tensions had been escalating since 2009, when Tandja dissolved the parliament and extended his own mandate through a controversial referendum. New legislative elections are conducted in early 2011, resulting in Mahamadou Issoufou winning the election. On July 26, 2023, Niger experienced a coup d'état, during which President Mohamed Bazoum was detained by the country's presidential guard. The commander of the presidential guard declared himself as the leader of a new military junta. As part of the coup, the presidential guard forces closed the country's borders, suspended state institutions, and imposed a curfew. According to analysts, the uprising may have been driven by the increasing cost of living and perceptions of government incompetence and corruption. The country frequently ranks poorly on the UN's Human Development Index, indicating significant developmental challenges. Additionally, Niger has faced Islamist insurgencies led by groups like Al-Qaeda, Islamic State, and Boko Haram, despite receiving military training and logistical support from the United States and France, both of which maintain bases in the country. In 2022, after being expelled from Mali and Burkina Faso, Niger became the center of France's anti-jihadist operations in the Sahel region, with President Bazoum being considered one of the remaining pro-Western leaders in the area. This development positioned Niger as a vital ally for Western forces, particularly those from France and the United States in the region. Due to multiple coups and growing anti-French sentiments in neighboring countries, Niger became France's last resort partner. Furthermore, American trained officers were reported to have provided training to many members of the presidential guard. The latest Niger's coup, from 2023, follows the countries in its close neighboring like Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, Chad, and Sudan, and will resonate in Africa.